All right, class, today we are happily going to move into two-step inequalities. As you saw in the warm-up, we went over what we learned yesterday, which was one-step inequalities. There was only one item in the way of our variable, so we got rid of it. Same thing over here, except this time it was multiplying / dividing. So today is two steps. So we have one thing in the way of our variable r and a second thing in the way of our variable r. So that is two items that have to be moved. In general, our rule is to get rid of whatever is being added or subtracted first. That right there is -2, so to get rid of -2, we add 2. And if we add it on one side, we have to add it on the other. That indeed cancels it out, so we're left with -2r. The inequality is still facing the same way. 4 plus 2 is 6. Now is the second step. We still want to find our r on its own, so to get it on its own we have to get rid of the -2 or the -2. The -2 is multiplying times the r right now because there's nothing in between it, so that the opposite of multiplication is division. Divide by -2, divide by -2. We're left only with an r, and hopefully you remember this from before. We just divided a negative number across the inequality, so it flips the inequality to face the other direction. 6 divided by -2 gives us -3. So we put our circle at -3. Since it's not or equal to, we are going to leave it an open circle, and then to figure out whether we shade it to the right or to the left, we read it. R is greater than. The big side is facing the R, so it's greater than -3. All right. For each of these warm-up problems, you're going to go ahead and pause after I show you a problem. Then you're going to try the next problem, and then you'll push play once the people in your group have tried it and see if you got it right. So go ahead and push pause now and try example 2. All right, in example 2, we have the variable on the right side. Some students are still trying to get this variable to go over because they're used to moving things to the right. You need to identify the variable and then get the things away from it. First, we get rid of whatever's being added or subtracted, which is the +2. The opposite of +2 is -2. -2, it's gone. 138 minus 2 is 136. The inequality is still facing this way because we don't care if it's adding or subtracting. It's only when you're dividing or multiplying by a negative number that flips the inequality. 8x is the only thing left on the right. We still want the x on its own. The 8's in the way, and it's multiplying times the x. So to get rid of multiplying, we divide by 8, divide by 8. X is, the inequality faces the same direction, and 136 divided by 8, 17. At this point, you know, because the inequality is greater than or equal to, you're going to have a circle here, and it'll be closed circle, shaded in. But the question is the line going to be moving to the right or to the left? Because our variable's on this side, it tricks students up sometimes. Let's read it from the variable. X, because those are the numbers we care about, x is less than, the small side is touching the x. X is less than 17. So I want everything to the left. If it helps you to go ahead and write over on the side a reversed one of these, where it's x, the small side has to keep facing the x, and the 17 goes here. If that helps you to say x is less than 17, you can do that, or you can read it backwards. All right, at this point, go ahead and push pause and try example 3. Okay, example 3. We have the variable here. There are two things that are in the way, the 8 and the 6. First, we get rid of whatever's being added or subtracted, which is the 8. The opposite of -8 is +8. +8. The 8's are gone. I'm left with x over -6 is greater than -12 plus 8. I'm left with -4. Positives and negatives cancel like that. I still have this -6 in the way. To get rid of the -6, I have to do the opposite of what it's doing right now. It's under a division line, so that means it's being divided. So the opposite of division is multiplication. Times 6, if I do it on one side, and it's got to be times -6 to get rid of the negative. If I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other, times -6. These 6's cancel. I'm left with x is, and I hope you were able to catch this, since we multiplied times a negative number across the inequality is going to end up being flipped to the other side. X is less than -4 times -6 is positive 24. So now we put our line graph. Here's 24, so we put a circle. Since there's no equal to underneath it, it's going to stay an open circle. And we read it. X is less than 24. So we want everything to that side. All right. Go ahead and push pause and try number 4. Okay. In solving number 4, this is the first one where we're not going to be able to get rid of whatever's being added or subtracted first. The m is what we want to get on its own. The 1 and the 9 are in the way. Normally we try and get rid of whatever's being added, which in this case is +1, but we can't get rid of it because this fraction line is essentially grouping the top together, so we can't get rid of that until we get rid of this fraction line. So whenever it's in a fraction, we got to get rid of that denominator first. So what's the 9 doing? It's under that, so that means it's dividing. So to get rid of dividing, we multiply times 9. If we do it on one side, we have to do it on the other. The 9's cancel. 1 plus m is greater than or equal to 1 times 9 is 9. Now I can get rid of that +1. To get rid of +1, we go -1, -1. M is greater than or equal to 9 minus 1 is 8. So we put our circle at 8. Since it's or equal to, we shade it in. It's a closed circle, and we want it to be m is greater than 8. So it's everything to the right of that line. All right. At this point, you are going to get your classwork started, so flip to the back of the page and start on number 1.